Someone I know, in real life, has gone mad. I help her sometimes, take her to appointments and so on. She is convinced strangers are creeping around her house at night, following her, hacking her cell phone, and so on. She was once a professional, of high academic standing. It is interesting that she often says that she has finally figured out who is hounding her, that it all makes sense to her now, that she sees it perfectly. Isn't that an amazing trick of the brain? Madness always offers lucidity, or apparently lucidity. Perhaps it is the fallen brain's way to make sense of things, because fabricated order is better than the truth of madness. And here one must wonder about the madness of life. There are many writers who do not help us out. We think of Friedrich Nietzsche, who wrote that nihilism is the will, that is the human will, turning against life, the tender and sorrowful signs of the ultimate illness. But perhaps a famous writer like Franz Kafka has a better version of doom. It is better, in my view, because it does not come to a conclusion. He finds himself bewildered. A man inside a brutal world, tossed and turned, and he cannot figure out what is going on. Kafka writes of himself, saying, "I have hardly anything in common with myself and should stand very quietly in a corner, content that I can breathe." But we cannot leave our hope in the bewildered hands of Kafka, and here I think of a folktale of the Hebrew slaves in Egypt at the times of the pharaohs. The story goes, as I recall, that the male slaves would meet with their wives every now and then, for respite, and to make love, but the males, being defeated by slavery, could not perform. The wives would, in some form of appeal, take mirrors, and show the mirrors to the men. One wonders, from this allegory, whether the men's self-image, or restored, self-image led to their eventual freedom from the iron fist of the pharaoh which bound them externally, and the whisper of the faceless self which bound them internally. Because, we cannot be like Kafka, who has nothing in common with himself, we must find a mirror again, and shine it inside, and find our face, our value of exquisite self, and find, in this beauty, and stillness, and the kiss of God, the healing for our brains. Perhaps we have lost our internal mirror, a substantial image. I know this because the devil stole my mirror when I was young.